Caterpillar shares are gaining more than 1.5% in New York. The market is being begrudging, all things considered, particularly after record earnings smashed analysts' expectations for Caterpillar. You know Caterpillar, the large earth-moving equipment. The company made a net profit of around 1.7 billion in Q2. But here's the stonking number. It's up 67% from the same period last year. Caterpillar's now raised its full-year forecast and says 12 will be a record year for the company. Doug Oberhelman is Caterpillar's chief exec. He joins us now from Peoria, Illinois, where the company has its headquarters. Mr. Oberhelman, good to have you on the program. The core issue I need to understand, first of all, we've got so many companies, we've seen them over the last couple of days, even the GEs of this world, these big ticket item companies who are suffering because of global economic problems. So what have you done different? Why is Caterpillar, which is the biggest of the capital expenditure, why have you turned this round?
Well, hello, Richard, and good to be with you. I think there's a couple things that I would credit. First of all, a tremendous global footprint and a broad product and service lineup as well in areas that the world needs: infrastructure, mining, oil and gas, all of the things, electric power, all the things that we supply, where some markets are still very hot, some aren't so hot, but overall we're doing pretty well. As you said, it's a record quarter. We're celebrating out here in Peoria, Illinois, actually. Record top line in the quarter of all quarters in history, record profit per share, record outlook for 2012. We're pretty happy about all that.
Okay, but other companies are warning that the slowdown in Europe, the slowdown in the United States is having a disproportionate effect on their results. So is this quarter the sort of re-inventory of people getting rid of old machinery, but actually you are going to suffer further down the pipe?
We mentioned some degree of optimism for 2013. I think the rough spot the world is in today is primarily caused by tightening of or lack of loosening and stimulus a year ago in places like Brazil, China. Europe was not loosening and had monetary policy like they do today. Today, all of the economies, all of the central banks are providing liquidity to the markets. We'll see that come to us over the next 6 to 12 months. That's why I'm somewhat optimistic about 2013. It's going to be very anemic growth, but it should be recovery. I think that's what we're growing into. Furthermore, a lot of our markets are still very strong. Our backlog is still up from a year ago. We're doing very well with that, and we're really working hard inside our four walls to control our operations. We had record profit pull-through, record efficiencies, our safety numbers, our quality numbers, all of the metrics we watch are improving and at very high levels. So the company is really functioning on all 20 cylinders in the case of our largest engine.
In that environment, all right, you know, I'm going to be the typical skeptic, cynic, whatever you want to call it, and I look for the fly in the ointment. And not only am I going to look for the fly in the ointment, I'm going to ask you to tell me what the fly in the ointment is, Douglas.
Well, the fly in the ointment's pretty easy, and I don't know what it is, but it will come from some macro event if it comes at all. I really think that most of the economies and most of the governments, the monetary authorities, are doing the right things today generally. The problem are the politics, whether it's the politics in Europe, the politics here. There's a lot of talk by politicians wanting to implode our economy with this fiscal cliff at the end of the year. That can't happen. Europe, if something strange happens there, something gets out of control, that could lead to a series of events. I can't identify any of those today or which one it might be, but I'm pretty sure if something would come, that's where it would come from. The rest of the planet looks pretty good in terms of the direction. It's not strong. It's a very slow growth. It should be a lot better than it is. But right now, that's what we're trying to watch and monitor as closely as possible.
And you, sir, are the perfect example of what we have been talking about on this programme. Running a company that's performing well, that is at the whim of these external factors. Do you have confidence in governments and central banks to actually manage in the next year or so to get us out of this mess?
I'm an optimist, Richard, and what I'm trying to do, and we are really doing pretty well here at Caterpillar, is managing within our four walls. We are doing that as best as we can, and we're trying to influence those things that we can influence outside. So I spend a lot of time with political leadership. I spend a lot of time on those kind of subjects to try to influence a good outcome for all of us. And then there are those storm clouds out there that nobody knows when it's going to rain, and we're watching those every single day. Who knows where that will lead us, but if we do what we do best, which is run our company the best we can, we'll be prepared for whatever comes, and I think we are.